Hi, this is Joe DeMayo with FantasyPlayersEdge.com. Two common mistakes that cost fantasy baseball managers valuable points are failure to activate starting pitchers early and checking starting lineups prior to game time to assess the status of offensive players that have minor injuries. Let me provide some details. There are two always to remember about maximizing the weekly potential of your rosters. First, always activate players, especially pitchers, days in advance. Do this as insurance, so if you're unable to log on for whatever reason on any given day, at the minimum, key pitchers will be active when their turn is due. Pitching rotations are announced 3 days in advance, so there is no reason to have a star hurler inactive when his turn comes up. By simply activating your rotation for the week on Sundays and Thursdays, you will assure that your stud starting pitcher will be on the job for you. The second always is to check starting lineups prior to game time, especially when your potential lineup involves an active player who has a minor injury. The at-bats or innings lost or gained by a key player can have a huge effect in a head-to-head contest. There are only a few basic times daily that you'll need to have access to your roster for potential changes. They are 12:30 and 3:30 for day games, and 6:30, 7:30, and 9:30 for night contests. Simply assess whether the player in question is active prior to game time and adjust, if necessary, accordingly. It takes less than a minute to make these adjustments, and even if you had players to check in all 5 time periods, the 5 minutes of total time spent that day will contribute mightily towards the success of the 26-week marathon that you are running. It's essential that you maximize your roster daily and weekly in all formats. Quality innings lost, especially from an ace on your staff or missing a big offensive day from a key batter, can make a difference in the overall outcome for your team. So play the game smart. And even if you only have a limited amount of time, use it wisely. So there you have it. 2 always on the road to your championship. This is Joe DeMayo at FantasyPlayersEdge.com, here to make sure that you get the edge and win your league.